Really what I want to talk about is perception and perception's influence on reality. Perception essentially is your senses at work, your sight, your touch, sound, all of that. It's also the things that you can imagine, right? And it's also how you ultimately interpret the information that's coming your way. And a classic pop culture reference is going to be The Matrix, the original, as well as the way that they eventually ended The Matrix. We're not going to go too deep into that. I'm not going to break down a movie. But the point is, while in a fabricated reality, that was real life. And even though it didn't coincide with what actually existed, in a sense, it was a layer of existence. Talk about perception. Yet to get to the deeper level, you had to take the red pill and see what reality actually was. It was not what was presented. There was a land of machines, and there was an underground layer of people who were out in the actual real world, trying to figure out how to, win a war, if you will. And the machines essentially were on the same, but they were more so on the level of containing and controlling. So in our lives, you have information that you receive, you have a history, you have a way that we interpret, we have a way that we see, we have sounds and things that are coming our way, and it shapes how you perceive. It shapes, obviously, how you look at things. And it's not until you take the red pill, then, that you can really dissect the layers of it, because even when they got in the real world, there was still greater depth to it. The greater depth was that this was a cycle that had been repeated over and over again. The greater secret was that, in fact, Neo was an actual creation of the Matrix itself, the hero. Interesting. And what I do love about perception is that ultimately, as I've heard said, perception is reality. Yeah, perception is reality. It's how you perceive, right? I create, ultimately, my reality. I interpret my reality, and I get to choose what I allow to go into my brain. Yeah, I get to choose what I see. I get to choose what I hear. So I'm actually literally in the process of my own creation at all times, knowing that there is another layer, and that other layer is that, guess what? Everybody else is doing the same. And some are more bought into what exists outside of us than others, right? And there's an entire globe of systems that are at work. But I'm mostly concerned of what can I touch, what can I taste, what can I feel, what can I see, what's there, what's my reality, what are the people that are closest to me. That's my most accurate perception, that arena is. That's where my perception is most keen to its effect on my actual reality. And I'll try to have an illustration to help. And I'll take a worst case scenario is, a person finds himself sleeping under a bridge. All right, you're sleeping under a bridge. Now, reality is you are in fact, or that person is in fact, under a bridge. They really are sleeping there. That's really happening. But perception will come into play whether or not that person's reality will continue to reflect that moment. You can perceive in that moment, hey, I'm here, but I'm not going to be here for long. This is just a moment of time that is passing. And then that individual surrounds himself with people that are saying the same thing. And then that person is watching and listening to things that are encouraging a new reality. Maybe talking about how to do a resume, or how to, land your first job, or how to save money, or whatever it may be. Perception, or the opposite perception, the other perception. Things are always going to be like this. Things are only going to get worse. I'm never going to get out of this situation. Perception. And then surrounding oneself with people and things and habits that only mirror and say the same. So your perception. So perception then can have a major impact on us here moving forward. And so I encourage you to take more control of your perception. I encourage you to recognize perception as for what it is and know its effect on your reality, how it shapes things for you, and how you can actually create more reality by working with your own perception, but also never trusting your perception too much. Leaving a sliver of doubt and inquisitiveness, I will say, to continue to search, to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to adopt perhaps new mindsets, strategies, and information that will in reality help you to move forward. This is AR Speaks. I'm over here headed to training. I want to remind you to live by design, live by choice, not by chance.